I know.
Wow. Good morning. Good
Good
Friday,
morning.
everybody. This
Good
is
morning.
Real Estate Unwrapped. What's some music for the morning? DJ, play some
This is
music.
Real Estate Jazzy Unwrapped.
Yeah, it's the grown-up music like we discussed
That
last week with
was.
Israel. We missed you, Ed, last week. You were in
Yes,
the
we
I missed you
did.
woods.
guys last week. I
Huh?
missed you guys.
You
Seriously.
were in the woods.
I
How
was
was that?
stranded in the woods, um, fighting bears
Yeah.
and
With
trying
your
to
bare
survive
hands. Yeah.
with my bare hands and teeth. See?
Oh, wow.
So,
That must have
but
been
no,
amazing.
seriously, I did. I miss you guys. I saw you guys were killing it with the information. So you guys did phenomenal without me. Um,
Thank you.
but I'm glad to be back.
All right. All right, all right, all right. So what do we have here? I'm not seeing anybody. Is it me? We don't have any viewers left.
It's all right. So the thing is,
It's
the great thing
okay.
about this, we'll keep moving forward with that in the sense that value. I mean, this is a great
Yes.
topic to talk about.
We're
You
going to
know,
have a lot of information, like a lot. I hope we can condense everything in 1 hour. So today's topic, should we keep
Okay.
the
Hold on
ticker?
before you throw out today's topic. All
Yeah.
right. Just like everything else, I know people deliver a lot of good information, a lot of what they say, golden nuggets, right?
right?
Um, so we figured what we would do is come out and provide some value, right? We want to provide you guys with the golden chicken nuggets
It's even
for
better.
those of you out there. All right.
Right.
So Gigi, if we just add it on there,
That's it. We
this is a
found the golden
pack.
chicken nugget.
There
This
you
is
go.
the 6-pack chicken nugget right here. Golden nuggets. All right,
Isn't that
guys.
something? All right, let me just remove the ticker right here. So, Real Estate Unwrapped, how to provide actual value to buyers and sellers. And you know what? We all hear it. Oh, as agent, this is the value we bring to our customers, or our clients, or buyers, or sellers. And then you have new agents that have like no idea. They're like, how do I, what, what value? What is that? Yeah, I'm going to be showing the property. And then it's like they have this notion of value, which is a little bit jaded, a little bit mistaken, but what we see on social media and all over, right? What is real value? What is it to us and what is it to the consumer? And we're going to try to understand and how you can put some cohesion into it and really understanding who you are actually and what you bring to the table. That's really what the point is. Correct, guys? You agree with me?
Right.
Because
100%.
I'm talking to a lot of new agents and they get confused and they don't know what's what and how to start, and I don't bring enough value. I'm too young in the business.
So
No.
clearly there's more. There's more to
To it.
just grabbing the keys, opening the door, letting them in. And this is what we
Right.
were talking about last week,
Right.
earlier this week, I mean, right?
Yeah.
Was how do we step in and do more than just a, hey guys, take a free look around, let me know if you have any questions.
Right. Because
Like
in a
there's
lot
more
of
to
the
that.
instance, yes, some people might say we don't even need this agent, or you might lose a customer or a client because you didn't bring it all in. They did not see any value in your services. And it's okay to be a rookie. It's okay to make the mistakes, and you have to learn from those. And like we're here to help ourselves and to help you guys basically put everything together and understanding, have this mindset of what do I bring to the table? Even if I'm new, even if I'm inexperienced, what do I bring to the table? And that's what we're going to discuss today. Next. All right. So we went with a very mathematical equation on definition of
I
value.
hope you don't confuse them now.
right? No, I'm not even gonna go into that because
Right.
there is this dictionary definition. Ed, you had one that was pretty cool that you maybe you can read, and then I can go in the next slide and
Yeah,
tell
so
you what I found, guys.
so this is something that would be very generic, I would say, but
Yeah.
I liked it because it kind of gears towards, I would say, our industry. Um, so it
Mm-hmm.
said considered, and in parentheses, someone or something to be important or beneficial. Have a high option of blank.
Yeah. Yeah. That particular slide that I chose, to me, sort of um read to me in the sense that in business, in the service business we are in, value equals result plus process divided by dollar and effort, and with it you need to add time, trust, knowledge, empathy, which is a great word, and proof of your service, of what you've done. So with that, here is a few so no, you see no English, it's 11 o'clock, it's terrible. Definitions of value that I found on the internet. Of course, I ripped it off from somebody, so it's okay, but it worked for us. I call it to John Dewey. John Dewey is an American philosopher. If you guys were into that kind of
Ooh,
thing in yeah, I
America.
major in philosophy in high school in France. We had philosophy majors for high school, but that's so I knew about it, and he worked a lot on education, philosophy in education, and bringing up people into getting more knowledge and so on and so forth. So to him, the value means primarily to prize, to esteem, to appraise, to estimate. Okay, and according to the International Encyclopedia of Ethics, which is like a big fancy thing, value is the relative level of worth, goodness, significance, or utility possessed by an entity, attribute, or event, or an intangible quality or attribute that has intrinsic worth in itself. Like intrinsic, like inside, like to the core, to the root, to the gut. According to Henderson, also American philosopher, it has been pointed out that man acts to satisfy his wants. Anything which satisfies a human want becomes thereby a value. To say that out of our that our conduct is motivated by our value is another way of saying that we act to satisfy our wants, and that's going to have to do a lot with what our self, how we're going to define our own self-worth, value, and what is value to a consumer. You guys want to add anything to that? Is it
Yeah,
very philosophical? is it it's deep, right? It's really deep.
you went in. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, definitely.
That's too much.
No,
No, that's
but the
No.
perfect.
key
I mean,
here,
it's
look,
perfect.
the key here that I believe was, again, you have to satisfy a need
A
or
core,
a want.
yeah. Yes, yes,
Clearly,
yeah,
satisfy the
yeah.
need or the want. So
Right.
how do you do that? How do you
All
find
right.
out what that need and that want is?
So let's go over what is usually expected from real estate agent. Usually, right? And I'll be happy if somebody jumps in. I don't think anybody's jumping in today. It's okay. And somebody just walked in, and oh, hi. It's one of our agents. We haven't seen her in ages. Vincent is in the back, by the way. You see, this is live TV. It's great. All right, so what we have is, we can go over it. What is usually expected from buyers? You guys want to go over that?
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so excuse the noise in the background. I don't know if there's a truck out there, but so on the buyer's end, right? So literally, these are things that you want to go through. So as we mentioned before, satisfy needs and wants, but through that process, you also want to be able to collect enough information as possible,
Right.
right? So as we put a list here on the buyer's end, for
This is the
example,
typical stuff expected from us,
very basic,
working with
right?
buyers and sellers. And we
So
should
for
all have that at least, under our belt. If you don't have that, call us. We'll help you out.
Yeah,
Go
so
ahead.
if you're brand new, first time, and you're trying to figure out, okay, how am I how am I going to give this customer or client excellent service? What is it that I can provide for them? This is what the basic things, this is a basic things that you should be doing for your client or customer. All right. So on the buyer's end, clearly you want to get them prepared and you want to help explain that. This is where I feel you can provide a lot of value. You can't just blatantly go and say, hey, you got a pre-approval, because chances are the customer is going to say, I just want to see this place. You know, they're going to react to how you're responding to them. So you want to find ways to kind of get around it. Hey, look, I want to better prepare you, right? Let's get you prepared. Have you spoken with the bank, or are you looking to buy this all cash? No, I need to take out a pre-approval. I gotta take out the money from the bank. Fantastic. Have you already gotten a pre-approval from a bank or not yet? Yes, I have it already. Or no, not yet. Okay, fantastic. If they say no, no worries. You can jump into and try to connect them with your lender, but try to get that. If they try to block you on it, I want to see the place first. Listen, I just want to get you better prepared. And it's not me that's asking for it. It's the sellers. They want to make sure whoever's coming into that property is qualified. You know?
Yeah.
That's how you can take it off yourself. Refer vendors, which we mentioned before, right? Hey, I'm not prepared yet, or I don't have a bank that I can talk to. No big deal. I have a lot of preferred lenders that I work with personally that are great. Let me recommend them to you. Let's connect with them. Let's see if they can help provide some value. Let's see if you feel comfortable and confident that they can assist you through the process and get you closed on the loan, right?
Yeah.
That's what you want to do. Do you have an attorney, right? Oh no, I didn't really think about that. Yeah, definitely. You should have a real estate attorney, not just any attorney. You should have a real estate attorney work with you. If you don't know of any, I'll be more than happy to recommend a couple of my
thing with
preferred
inspections.
attorneys.
Yeah.
Same thing with the inspectors. Same thing, right? Have a clear understanding of what the buyers can afford. You're not asking them for their budget because you want to place the max offer for them. You're asking them for their max budget. What's a simple way that I like to ask for it? Hey, Gigi, let's say we do find you that dream house. Let's say we find it in the perfect neighborhood, perfect place. What would you say would be max budget that you would pay for that property? That's it.
And then it goes even deeper than that, because sometimes you could have price and then you're going to have taxes that could be extremely high in Nassau County. So that's going to affect your price. So you got to understand, you know, like if they've been really well qualified, they're going to give you that information. And then we skip the knowledge of area and the inventory, which I think, Israel, you can talk about this, because I think we have, even as brand new agent, you have to get to know the areas you're working in. Doesn't have to be overnight, but you need to see what's out there on the MLS. Israel, you want to give your take on this one?
Sure. So it's real simple. I mean, honestly, if you're working in your own market, wherever market you particularly live in, you should know the area that you live in, pretty much, right? Look at it that way. And then if you're actually working with another buyer, or if you're starting to work with a buyer in a different area, start learning about the areas that are there. Where's the trains? Where are the parks? Where are the schools? Where are the areas of that particular, what schools are high rated? Which ones are, how far is the bus from the location, or the train, so it's so forth. Some people need a parking area. Those are things you look for as well. So then after that, you pretty much, in the course of a day, you can actually just walk around that certain area and see all that information. Or if not, use Google Maps. That works too. So the thing is, you also look at your inventory. Now, the inventory is pretty simple as well. If you're doing inventory in your own farming area, you should be able to get that information every single day. But one thing I certainly suggest, as a new agent or even as a seasoned agent, I still do it myself, you want to make sure that you do a preview of a property that you know nothing about. Okay, this way you'll actually have an idea of what the property is all about and what buyer may qualify, or at least what buyer may be looking for, once you have that property in mind. So in other words, if you're going to a one-bedroom co-op and it has a certain type of kitchen, whether it's small or big, you already have a certain library of buyers that are looking for those type of kitchens. So my thing is, always take that time. It only takes 15, 20 minutes out of your time to go preview a home real quick Look at it in the eyes of the buyers that you work with, and then this way you'll know the library and inventory that you have in front of you, so that when you do have a buyer who's ready to move forward, you already know what products or what pretty much what units or homes you can actually provide them right away.
Yeah, and set up your MLS with new updates of new listings, of price changes, of what goes in the contract. You can set up your MLS to get updates every day. Every day,
Yep.
every morning, first thing, you're going to look at your MLS updates. That's a great way of, before even going to preview stuff. And you should be previewing. This still works. It's great. You can go preview on your own. A lot of
Absolutely.
properties have like log boxes and stuff. You can go and see it and
And
get
if
to
you're
see
afraid to
it.
doing that, you can always go to open houses. You're allowed to go. Go to an open house and just see. Because again, it's an open house. You get to see what the product is all about. You get to see what the home's about. Now you understand what they're looking for.
Yeah. And then let's go quickly over what is expected of a service that we provide, to the value we provide to sellers. Like analyzing the market when you're going to work on a listing. It's kind of important. And believe it or not, a lot of agents don't even do that. Don't even analyze the market trends, where price were, where they're going. Give an estimate value of the house. Yes. And sometimes they would even not even do that. They'll just let the seller say, oh, you want that much? Okay, let's try that. Then we'll reduce and reduce and reduce.
Right.
Have a marketing strategy. Hopefully you have one when it comes to how you're going to expose the listings and the property and what you're going to do, the photos, the floor plans, the tour, where it's going to go at, who you're going to call, how you're going to make the public aware of it. Hopefully you have that. Negotiate top dollar. That doesn't mean it's always the highest price. It's also terms and conditions. And hopefully give feedbacks to your clients of activity, how many showings and what's the feedback of the buyers and so on and so forth. Or we don't have enough showings. Maybe we need to readjust the price or change up the marketing, stuff like that. And that is, you guys want to add something? This is what is normally expected.
Yeah, I mean, look, when it comes to a seller or an owner, one of the top things that they always look for a seller agent is to sell their home, right? Find their best, ready, willing, and best buyer out there who's actually able to buy their home. So, and these are just some of the attributes that some owners and pretty much sellers are looking for when selling their home.
But then when you're in front of either the buyer and you go over, this is what is being expected. How do you differentiate yourself? And before we even get into that, and I hope we can have some input from of our viewers out there. Here goes. Let's go and share this comment right there. You want to read it? It says, I had, who was, I don't even know who that is. It says,
it says Facebook user, I lost a listing because I didn't have over 5 years of experience in real estate. So that's something that a new agent would experience.
Is it really why you lost the listing, or is it because that seller, that could have been an excuse? She didn't see the value in hiring you.
Yeah,
because,
I think so.
I think 5 years is a lot of years in real estate. You get to know a lot, So
the person's saying that they didn't have over 5 years. So even if you look at it, new agent, rookie, whatever you want to look at, right? Guess what? That's an objection, really. It's not a condition. It's really them saying that they don't see the value in reference of moving forward with you. And maybe the next time you actually meet with a seller, maybe next time they say, hey, listen, you don't have those amount of years that is needed to sell my home. You should ask them, would you rather have somebody who has too many listings and not being able to focus 1,000% on your home? Or would you rather somebody who actually has a whole bunch of time to only focus on your home and get your home sold right away?
And that's why, I added this slide. And it's like, do we know as agents what our core beliefs are, what our own value are about our self-worth? Yes, I'm maybe brand new in real estate, but I am this, I am that. it's like beauty over age sometimes. Not even that, but like you're brand new in the business. You're eager to please. That client is gonna be basically your top priority, and you're not a total rookie. You have a little bit less than 5 years in real estate. What does it mean? This is really
Yeah.
like an objection that could have been maybe like uprooted. What was really, because if she went with an old timer, she might be disappointed that she's not getting the communication that did she need. Like maybe what we need to know is like, okay, this is what I can offer myself. You should be able to identify, like, instead of things as an impediment. I have less than 5 years into real estate. Okay, but that's going to change. Like in a couple of years, you're going to have over 5 years into in real estate. So what are your own value as an agent? What do you bring to the table that is added to what is usually expected? Right? And you need to be able to go deep inside and define yourself. What do you believe in
Yeah.
when it comes to consumers, right?
No, it's true. I think
Yeah.
I think in this case, look, if you have under the years of experience, sometimes some of my responses are a little comical.
Right.
For example, oh, you're comparing me to somebody that says they've been in the business for 20 years. Okay, do you think things have changed over the course of 20 years? Absolutely. We just went through a
Yes.
pandemic. A lot of the people that have been working for 20, 30 years in the industry just phased out because of what happened. They don't even know where to begin anymore. So
Right.
you honestly believe that this person can actually help you get through this process? My team and I, and this is why I would utilize this.
The
My
third
team and
party
I,
validation.
okay,
Yes.
my team and I actually have sold X amount of listings
Right.
this past year.
Right.
My team and I, if there were listings that were sold in the area, and this touches back to what you guys were talking about, right? Knowing
Yeah.
your inventory, knowing the
Yeah.
area.
Yeah.
My team and I had recently sold these amount of listings right around your home.
And then this is something I do with my listing partner. Sometimes we combine the years of experience. Combined with my team, we have over 150 years experience. Or just basically, we have agents that have over 20 years experience. Our team leader has over 20 years experience in real estate. You're not going to be alone. You're going to have a whole team behind you versus that one agent. With 258 years in real estate. Is it good always? No, not necessarily.
Yeah.
So you have to believe of who you are and what you got.
And I
And
think
that, I
also,
think, yeah.
outside of that, real quick, again, when you're competing against these people that have X amount of years, 20 years of experience, or whatever the case might be, also bring to their attention. A lot of those folks aren't on social media. A lot of the people nowadays are on social media. Who
Right.
do you think? I have an X amount of number of followers on my social media platforms. You combine the numbers the same way Gigi says.
Yeah.
Look how many views these properties are getting. Look how many views my virtual tours
Yeah.
are getting. This is how you can start to kind of utilize again your team. Hey, my
Yeah.
team, look at these tours that we put together. Look at what we're doing. Look at how we're driving attention and marketing these properties.
Right.
So the biggest key there is, if you are in minimal amount of years, and I know we spoke about this last time, Gigi, was sometimes we get hung up on the fact that we want to make that commission.
Yeah.
I think that
Right.
something should be added to that in the sense that if you're going to use years compared to experience or whatever, I mean, there are some agents who actually are been in the industry shorter times and have had more experience than those who've been there for 30, 40 years.
Yes, and are more
Which is weird.
ethical.
And then
Yes.
at the same time, one of the values that I actually bring in the sense of saying so much, in the sense, I actually ask questions. What is it that you're looking for in an agent? So when they start saying that they need of someone who's going to be communicative, aggressive,
Yeah.
then I use that as my sort of fuel or as my little leverage in the sense of telling them, listen, that's what you're looking for. This is the kind of person you're going to get.
Right.
And I provide all those information that you're looking for right now.
So that's why I wanted to, I jumped up to the next slide and wanted
Yeah.
to
Thank you
highlight
for the question,
real.
by the way.
Yeah,
Whoever
that was
put
a great
out there.
question. Thank you.
Awesome question.
The real value that makes you stand out from other agents. Real values. Okay, I should have. It's the real one value, several values. So I put together some stuff. You guys are welcome to add. So those are the real value. You committed. You trustworthy. You're working on your skills every day. You're a very supportive agent. You'll be there to listen to the person. You have grit. It's
Yeah.
the same thing. It's inside you. You want it so much. You know, you're respectful. You're working hard. You're caring. You have competence, and if you don't have it yet, you're acquiring it. You're
Yeah.
available to your to your client. You have expertise, even if it's you not have a full expertise in that business. You
Hmm.
must have expertise someplace. Integrity is huge. Efficiency, are you efficient? And you can highlight, you don't have to be all this, but you can highlight those qualities what you have. Innovations when it comes to marketing on social media and stuff like that. Client
Yeah.
satisfaction doesn't have to be the client satisfaction in real estate, right? It could be
Well,
the other fields you were in before.
mm,
You could be, and that could help you with what you're doing into real estate. Your background aids you. You're like the skills you had before will help you into real estate. You're accountable. You have some
that's true.
compassion. You're resourceful. Some people want somebody who's resourceful, going to be to turn around and find solutions. You know, one, two, three. Especially if you're going to talk to a expired listing seller, right? They
Yeah.
want somebody resourceful and proactive who's going to take charge. Dedication is also important. Some people want to be held by the hand and they want somebody, you know, you have to have a degree of passion. You, and even if your personality is more of the subdued and, you know, analytical and introvert, you can still show passion. And to me, I believe in this servant leadership mentality, and it goes even beyond real estate. What do you do for your community? What kind of person are you? You know, are you into charity? Do you do this? What's, you know, what shows that you have this servant leadership core value? And we can add up. I mean, you guys, I was just thinking of a few. We can add up. You what did you add up? What were you telling me, Ed, earlier?
I was mentioning listening and
Yes.
understanding,
Yes.
because and then you, like, again, we've kind of been saying it here and there, but
Right.
it always comes down to that, right? What is it that the client wants? You need to understand what they want. You need to understand what their purchase power is if they're buying. You need to understand why they want to sell if they're selling. You
Yeah.
know, you need to listen. 9 times out of 10, a lot of us,
Yeah.
literally, we're having a conversation and we tend to phase out. And we, you know what I mean? So when you see their eyes glazing over, you have to try to catch yourself in that. You have to try to catch yourself and try to get to what, okay, what is it that you're looking for? You know what I mean? That's what
Right.
you want to do. And we
Yeah.
tend to hear a lot of people talk, but we don't listen when they're talking. And that's what we
Right,
have to
because
do.
we're waiting to talk, and that's the problem. And you have, and sometimes I'm at showings, being the listing agents with buyers agents, and they come in, and the guy is like very boastful with his big fat belly up to, I don't know, close to me, and with his business card that has a picture from 1984, and he's just throwing like all this verbal diarrhea. Yeah, I started in 1982 and blah, 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 and I know this market and and I know the board president and I know this and I know that. And then you have these buyers, they just standing there shriveling down, like feeling like, oh my God,
I've
what's
actually
going
seen
on, you
I've
know?
actually seen an agent do, like, kind of not only hover over them, but then they're like beating on information on top of them. And you can, from
Right.
a distance, if you pull yourself back, you can literally see these people feel uncomfortable. And that's
Very
not what you want to
uncomfortable,
do.
feel diminished, feel l- less than important, feel like, oh my God, what am I getting into? I'm not even worth it. I probably don't even, you know, we're talking about, I had this example of a co op apartment. Oh, I'm not even going to pass the board. I mean, and it's like, and then they could have been interested, but then got completely disgusted by the behavior of the agent. Instead of the agents like doing their thing and say, here, guys, this is what the possibilities, he showed them the impossibilities, which was horrible, you
Yeah.
know.
And sometimes we tend to impose our ideas and what we believe the
Yeah.
property can be, or the
Right.
property, or
Right.
what the property isn't. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
So again, take yourself back from that. What we have to do is just be that person again, like you see here: listening, supportive, trust, skills. We just have to provide this type of
Pick
value.
something where you're good at and try, like, I think it's there is a lot of reflection when you're like, how can I provide the best service, like there is always that saying, like, how can you love someone if you don't love yourself? Same thing with the
Hmm.
service providing. How can you provide the service to someone when you don't even know what you can do yourself, what you can provide, right? So let's go back into it and say, what am I good at? For me, I know for a fact, and I don't want to sound boastful about it, that I'm going to make a seller feel very comfortable about the whole process. And because there is very high emotions, and this is something I'm always working on, because I'm also a very high emotion person. And that's what we were laughing at. I'm trying to be the equalizer. I should have had a photo of
I
Denzel
told you.
Washington
I
right there.
told
I
you.
know, like equalizing all those emotions. And they're going to call me 10 times with the same questions turned up in a different way, because maybe I haven't answered it, or maybe something came back at it and they just want reassurance, reassurance, reassurance. And sometimes when we're going through aggressive marketing strategies to really get the most out of what this market has to offer, because in some instances it's not always a super hot market. So the sellers agreeing with your marketing strategy but still very tense about the outcome. So
Yeah.
I know for a fact that I have this, because of my demeanor, because of I'm pretty sure what we propose to them is going to work. So it's sort of equalizing those emotions. And yes, I'm going to be available to listen to you for 20 minutes. And if this is what's going to make you feel comfortable and want to go through with the deal and the plan we have, with the marketing plans we have laid out for you, I'll listen for 20 minutes
Mm.
at 10:30 in the evening. It's okay. It's all right, because they're human beings too. I know I have a life. Well, maybe me not that much, but you have other things to do, but you have to be available for them. You know, they have to know you're there. So that I know that's a skill I have. I didn't always know it, right? But
No,
now
you
I know I
probably
have that.
developed it, or you probably,
Yeah,
yeah,
you develop it.
it's through
You make
development.
yourself better, because in my personality type, I tend to not give a hoot about anything. It's like,
Oh,
oh,
really? I
something
didn't
new
notice.
next. Really?
No.
So it's a skill you're working at. Exactly. So what are the things that make you outside of other agents? You know,
Yeah. And if you
those
don't
things.
know, a good thing to do is, and this is where this is kind
Self
of like you
discovery.
looking at yourself in the
Mm-hmm.
mirror, and then asking yourself, like, am I committed when I'm working with these clients? You know what I mean? Like, can they trust me? You know what I mean? Am I
Yeah.
respectful? Like, and if you're asking yourself those questions in front of the mirror, whenever you see yourself kind of quease a little bit, or oh, chances are it's hidden somewhere. You know what I mean? And this is just gonna help you further develop that.
Right.
That's
And
all
if
it's
you're going
gonna
to
do.
lose a client, yeah, it hurts a little bit, but you need to know why you lost them
Correct.
and
Don't
how
be
you can
scared to ask them.
improve. Yeah. How to
Yeah.
improve for the next person. And
Hmm.
trust me, that buyer or that seller will appreciate the fact that you recognize you were short a little bit, but that you're willing to improve. That's a great human quality, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's certainly a great way of asking for a review too, just to see how you're doing,
Yeah.
where you can improve, and what do they like best about you.
Yeah.
This way, you'll know exactly where you have to, either adjust or improve.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
And then again, so we had our value, and then again, all those values could be great, but to a buyer or a seller,
Mhm.
value could be something completely different to them. Maybe they want something else out of their agent, and that's for us to find out. right?
Sometimes they need a psychologist slash therapist. All right. And I'm gonna tell you guys a small story because this just reminded me about a buyer that I was working with, and I'll keep it
Mhm.
short and sweet. This couple, every time we went on properties, the husband was ready and gun ho to pull the trigger and submit an offer right there. He
All
would
right.
walk through the door and he's like, "I love this place. I want to buy it right now. I want to submit an offer." And me, I'm waving and I'm like, "Dude, stop. You can't do that. Like this is going to affect you so bad through the negotiations. It's not even funny." You know what I mean? So I'm like, "Cut it out." And then his wife would go through it and she would envision how she would want the apartment. And
Yeah.
then he would say, "You know what? It makes sense. Maybe we should change one thing. Like, let's say we renovate the bathroom." And she said, "No, but on top of the bathroom, I want this stuff done." But he would say, didn't need the attention. They would want to move forward, and they carried on like this for a few properties. So sometimes you have to also notice that if they're going back and forth, chances are they're fighting each other and you might be wasting some time there. You know what I mean? So that's why you have to kind of listen and pay attention. And it
Right.
turned out at this point I had to cut them off because we actually submitted, and I'm not lying to you, we submitted 4 offers, and 2 of those offers were at the same place. And all 4 of those offers, I got them accepted, and they backed out of all 4 of those offers.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
it got to the point where they were like, "Oh, we like this property," and I said, "No, I'm not even, because that property is in the same building, and we're not going through that again." So I said, "No, that was it. We're done. You guys need to figure out what it is that you want and meet in the middle. And I can't help you do that. I'm here to
Right.
help you find these properties, but this is something that you guys need to work on." And they said, "You know what? In the little time you spend with us, you understand you understand us, and we like the way you work. We're sorry that we made you feel this way." But they realized it. They realized the service that I was providing. And he said jokingly, he said, I told my wife, because it was more on her. He said, "I told my wife that she should just cut you a check for all the time that you spent with us,
You said
because
yes,
you
right?
did. There was so much value and information that you provided, and
Yeah, yeah,
she should cut you a check." And I laughed and I said, "Listen, do you want my address?" you know,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah,
it's that. So it was a funny story that we just brought this up. But again,
yeah.
yeah,
So
some
yeah,
clients,
yeah.
they need a therapist.
So we're dealing with, again, we're going back to different personalities. To some people, to somebody very analytical, somebody, more like Israel. You may not, like, for somebody like me, I have to be very careful of the value I can provide to them. I may have to switch my game a little bit. I may have to listen very carefully to what they're telling me,
Right.
because they may want a spreadsheet with all the buyers that came in at the open house, all the visitors. They may want this and that. I got to, and I caught myself a couple of weeks ago with, it was not even that analytical. Sellers giving us the keys. They say, "Here, we're not going to be there. Just freaking show." And we gave them some updates on the showing we had, but because we had the keys, I felt, let me just give them, after we have a couple of showings and stuff, let me not bother, they're not there. In turns, I was wrong. The husband wanted me, even though they were not there, wanted me to just give heads up of everybody that was going to show the property, when, what day, and what time. And he just bluntly told me, and he made me feel it. And this is not how I understood it when we got the listing. The wife just said, "Here are the keys. Just go show. Just go sell that place. We're not around. Okay, I'll give you here. This is on Thursday. This is what happened on Tuesday and Wednesday." But that wasn't enough for him. And I should have not only relied on her and on her opinion of how things should have been there, because he was there too. You understand? Nothing is wrong. We got that thing on the, we're going on the contract. It's all good. But I should also have paid attention to him.
Correct.
I think
What
times
my,
like that, it's
yeah,
actually goes back to what I said earlier. When working with different clients, is asking exactly the right question in the buyer and seller. What do you
right,
expect from the agent that you work with?
right,
Once you ask that question, you'll know the kind of seller and buyer that you're working with. Each one, again, going back to the personalities, this personality, you'll know who's the driver, who's the expressive person, who's the analytical one, who's the one that's kind of soft and it's okay. You'll know that. You'll know the person that actually provides the most information, and the person who just says, "Just give me just give me what I need," right?
right,
Or pretty much the next person who just says, "You know what, whatever you want, I'm okay with." You'll have that, right? And then you'll know how to sort of gear and stage
right.
your
Yeah.
experience, because really it's not your experience, right? It's their
It's
experience.
theirs.
So
It's
you have to
there.
provide a white glove experience for them in a way that they can say to the next person, "You know what? I have such a high level experience with Ed, Gigi, Israel, that I think you should work with them." All right.
Right,
And the
right,
high level experience is because they understood that we listened to them. They understood that we actually
right,
worked with them. They understand that we were able to give them exactly what they want. And I think that in value in itself is a great thing.
right. And to
So
me, that made me, think back. It's like, as much as this guy was in the background through the listing presentation and stuff, it seemed a little bit stern, but the wife was the driver, and I was like, that makes me, all the questions when answered. I thought we had it all down pat, but that little thing that just needed to be tweaked. As much experience as I have and all this, like I was like, damn. And that could be costly. It was not, but it could be very costly, and we have to be aware.
right.
You know, so it's always a work in progress, always, like there is something new. I'm not immune to mistakes, obviously not. you know no, none of us are, but we have to work on it and just like be more aware of the person in front of you. And again, I'm going to move on to the next slide. And it's not about you. I wanted to put that thing, like, stop blabbering about great you are. And Israel was actually really right. It's ask the right question. Ask questions that will make you discover really what they're looking for, what they want, what they need. You have to go and search for that pain that they're feeling. Obviously, if they're selling, or obviously if they're looking to purchase, there is some pain somehow, somewhere, and you need to know what it is, and you need to know how to fulfill that need, that gap.
So with that being said, I mean, I actually
Yeah.
have several customers, and two of them I'm thinking about in mind right now, in the sense that I've asked so many questions from
Hmm.
pretty much from point A to maybe up to the third showing, right? I was asking so many questions at one point. And believe me, it was questions of what they're looking for, how they feel, so on and so forth. And one time, two of them had said to me, it was like, you ask a lot of questions. And I was like, yeah, I do. But check this out. This is what I know about you so far. And
Yeah.
then when they realized that I knew more about them than their own family members and friends, they were very surprised.
Yeah.
Right?
On
They were
what they
very
wanted
surprised
for
on how
that
much
instant.
information I knew about the kind of home that they were looking for, what kind of
Yeah.
dream home they were looking for.
Yeah.
Right? They were surprised on how much information I already had in just those amount of conversations and questions I had. That, I mean, to this point, I've actually got 2 referrals from each one of them. But the point is, it's what I'm saying is you have to ask the questions, not sound like you're interviewing them, but just more
The
filtering
conversation.
down exactly what they're
Right.
looking for.
Like
Mhm.
getting to know the person
Get
in the
right.
conversation.
Just
Yeah.
cut the fat and just
Yeah.
get to the nitty gritty of the meat
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
find out exactly what they're
Yeah.
looking for.
Yeah, and you should be really interested in what they're looking for.
Of
It's not
course,
just a
of course,
drill and a script that you have to follow, because you
of
need to
course.
know and understand what they're looking for, what the need is. All
Mhm.
right. And because of this, we're talking about all the relevant questions we need to ask and all this. It's all great, but what are those questions? And it comes down to, oh my God, I need to bring value. This is how you're going to bring value, because we have the scripts and they've been around for decades, for eons. Actually, those are from, this is the genesis of real estate coaching. It's by Mike Ferry. You may have Tom Ferry's son. I went into looking at the scripts from Tom Ferry, the Kevin Ward, all those other trainers. Everything comes from that source, and it's tweak up, change up a couple of words and here and there. But in the end, those are the most important questions in that slide that you will need to ask a buyer when basically they decide they're going to want to work with you. And in that, it's 17 questions that you have to go through. If you don't go through it, you haven't fully qualified your buyer, and they'll be whole. They'll be whole into you working with them, trying to find exactly what they're looking for.
So
right?
let me just add on to that. I don't ask all 17. I'll be honest.
At one point,
I know all 17, but I don't
at
ask
one
all
point,
17.
but at some point, you're going to pop up another question that was there.
Correct. So that's
But
where I was going to go with that.
what-
The
yes.
fact that it depends on who you speak with. So
Yeah.
if you speak with someone where you're allowed to ask all 17, you ask.
Yeah.
Right. If you're speaking with someone who talks a lot, you don't go
Mhm.
through all 17. Okay. There's certain ones that become, if you look at the questions, there are certain ones that become more important than others, but you'll end up asking all 17 at a certain point or
Yes.
another. Right.
So,
However, just keep in mind, again, a driver doesn't want to deal with all 17 questions, right? A person who talks a lot doesn't want to deal with all 17 questions. A person who's analytical, but like, yeah, sure, let me keep answering these questions. And then
you
a
know
person.
what? Yeah, you can ask all those. You can ask the basic questions. Go to a showing
Can I interject real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, I do agree with you, but to a certain degree. All of those personalities are what I would say defense mechanisms. This is what stands out the most. The minute you get past that is the minute that they open up. So they could be very deep personality. On the phone, first conversation that you have, call and they're like, "Hey, I want to see this property." Yeah, no problem. Can I ask you a question? Are you pre-approved? No, I want to see this property first. You know that's a deep personality. Maybe you're not going to get through all 17 questions, but book it, confirm it, go with them, meet them. And if you start to speak with them and see what they're looking for, they're going to open up, and then you can just ask the questions.
And then again, I don't necessarily agree with you. Yeah, because Israel won't agree with you, Ed. He's not going to take somebody out.
Go on that. He just said he. Wait.
No. I agree with him in the sense. I agree with Ed in the sense that I'm not going to ask you I'm not going to ask the person all the questions in one shot.
Correct.
If you're a person that needs to go right away. All right, but I agree with Gigi when she says the fact that I'm not going to take you there right away. I will ask you questions, because the thing is that I fully understand that I need to qualify you. Because look, anybody can tell me I have a pre-approval. Don't worry about it. I'll get one. How many times have we heard that? Don't worry about it. I'll get one. Go ahead. I want to see that house right now. Don't worry. I have the money. Don't worry about it. I can get it. And then when you do show them, and they can't afford even $200,000 when the house is $500,000. You're like, what in the world just happened here? That's because you're not asking the right questions, right? So they have to see your value, and they have to see the value of why you're asking these questions. In other words, to go to the next step of doing that showing. Because one thing is assured, two things matters out of this. One, you want to make sure that it makes sense for you guys to work together.
Yeah.
Two, if it's worth some of the times. But definitely the first one is, if they qualify, does it make sense for you guys to work together? Because there's a possibility that sometimes, you work with someone, it just doesn't make sense because they are so all over the place that you've taken all this time trying to work with this person when you could have worked with someone that actually made more sense to work with.
So for me, it's a little bit different because I work with listing mainly and buyers come in. But guess what? Those care questions are still going to be asked.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And guess what? I may not be working with those buyers, but team members will, and if I feel like after asking maybe not all of the questions, because I'm not going to spend, I'm going to be showing the house and I'll be asking some questions and see the motivation, then I'll ask them permission if I can pass along their information to a team member that will be taking over from me. Because that house, obviously, I won't be getting an offer and interested in something else.
Right.
And that's okay. But with some buyers, I've done it where I'll ask a little bit of the question, and even if they sound obnoxious on the first phone call, just show me the freaking house. I got so much money, it's coming out of my ears. I'll
Lovely.
take them out and I'll figure out by asking those questions in conversation. You're a D, and I'll brush their ego. Yes, you look at you, you're shining like a shining star in the sky with all that money coming out of your ear. And you'll get some of the answers. Then you'll decide if you want to keep working with them.
Yeah.
But this is the genesis. This is
Yeah.
the genesis of all the questions that need to be asked. And you
Absolutely.
need to know the answers. Should we go
Absolutely.
for it quickly? Because I don't want to go too much over this training. So number one, are
Actually,
there, yeah,
yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, I'm looking at some of the questions. I feel like some of the most important questions to ask is obviously, their motivations and destination, right? So,
mm-hmm,
finding out, where they're planning to move,
right.
how much are they planning to spend, what kind of
How
home,
soon?
right? How soon do they need to move? What type of home are they looking for? Meaning it's bedrooms, bathrooms, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Um,
Who
have they?
else?
When it comes to
Yeah.
co-ops, we have to go a little bit more in depth in the sense of whether they have the 10, 20, 25%, even 30% down
DTR, yeah.
payment, right?
Or down payment, yeah.
Um, what we have to do the financial qualifications at that point if it comes to co-ops. And then, some of the other questions that follow is one of them, it could be, important at that time because are you working with another agent?
Yeah.
Right.
I would probably just add to that, brother. Like, if you're brand new, try to figure out how to go through all these questions, period.
Absolutely.
Internalize
I
it.
would really want to give like an
Absolutely.
overview quickly to our viewers of what those questions are, and I really would stress when you brand new, get to know those questions. Even if you cannot go
Absolutely.
through the whole questionnaire, get to know those questions, learn that qualifying script. So they go like this. Number one, are there any other areas that you're interested in others other than this area that you were going to look at today? Because obviously they're calling you for one house in a particular area. What is important to you about this area? And they will tell you school, shops, whatever, proximity of railroad. How long have you folks been looking for a home? If they're
Mm.
going to tell you we've been looking for a house for 17 years,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, that right there. I'm like, oh, really? Wow. Have you submitted any offers? Yeah, 30 of them. They all got rejected.
I know.
Ooh.
All right. Have you seen any homes that you like? Yes, you did. Okay. Can you describe them to me so that we give you an idea of what
Yeah.
their wants are? Wants doesn't mean needs. How soon would you like to move in? Do you need to sell an existing home to buy the next one? Extremely important question because that could be
Yeah.
another listing under your belt. And that could be in some instance, they may not be able to even place an offer, like in some markets that we have right now. And I would name the county, like in Nassau and Suffolk. Those contingencies, like I need to sell my house before I can buy one. That's a tough one. You'd better be in contract if you even want to have that offer accepted, and it better not be a co-op. you know what I'm saying? Are you working with other real estate agents? What price range are you considering? How many bedrooms and bath do you want in your new home? What other features are you looking for in your new home? I am sure you and your lenders have determined the down payment. How much do you want to put down? Number 12, what is the maximum monthly payment you would like to have? And that is determined by the mortgage lender. Are there any other people who need to see the home before you make a decision to buy? Extremely important question. Okay, even if they're not the one with the money. Sometimes, like a parent has to see a home, and if mom says no, then you're not buying. How many homes will you need to see before you make a decision to buy? Again, back to that person, 17 years looking at houses. That's also a decisive factor for you to know whether you're going to keep on working with those people or not. If we see the right home today, are you ready to make a decision today? If not, why not? You need to uncover all those questions. Yes. And if it's no, why did you tell me no? If we don't find the right home today, how quickly will I be able to reach you if I find the right home? Okay. Are there any other questions or concern you have about buying a home? So those are the main questions. I think it's pretty much everything, and I will tell you everything about what that person
Absolutely.
needs. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
And then you have the genesis of pre-qualifying for the listing presentation. So before that, this is, once you booked up an appointment and you have your appointment set up and stuff like that. And with the Mike Ferry sales system, is you're going to get all the information, and it says, before I come out, there are a number of questions I need to ask you. May I? Yes. Okay. Number one, if what I say makes sense and you feel comfortable and confident that I can sell your home, are you planning to list your home with me when I come out on Tuesday at 5? Might say yes. They might like, yeah, I did like what you said. And then that's great. That's when that question is answered. Don't even go through the other questions. Yeah, let me see you on Tuesday at 5 with the paperwork. That's all you need. If it's no, are you planning to interview more than one agent for the job of selling your home? They're going to tell you yes, no, yes. And I go even deeper than that. Sometimes I ask them who they're talking to. It doesn't hurt. If they don't want to answer, it's fine. Then I move on with the next question. Tell me again, where are you moving to? How soon do you have to be there? When I see you, how much do you want to list your home for? Okay. And that's not because I don't know what price I should list the house for, but as a professional real estate agent, I study homes and prices every day. Therefore, I'll assume you list with me at a price that will cause your home to sell, correct? So what price won't you go below? So that's just to set your expectations. All right. So at least you don't have any surprises. How much do you owe on the property? You want to make sure they owe less than what they're going to sell for. Have you ever thought of selling it yourself? Will you help finance the home for the buyer, or do you want to cash out? And it could be like a question where you say like, no, we don't need to ask. But in some instances, some people would finance part of the purchase. You never know. You never know. Would you please describe your home for me? I'll be sending over a package of information. Will you take a moment to review it? And this is the pre-listing package. I don't remember if we did a segment on this, and if we haven't, we will. And the pre-listing package usually have information about yourself, your company, some of the statistics, some of the comps, the paperwork filled up with the listing and all the listing information and the listing agreement. And do you have any questions before I arrive? It's number 11. Number 12, so our meeting should only take between 5 and 25 minutes. Is that okay? Because that sales system, you already have sent a lot of the paperwork to them that they will review, and you'll go back over the comps with them again. If they say, yes, it's okay, it could be more than 25 minutes, I look forward to seeing you on Tuesday at 5 o'clock, Mr. Sellers. With those two scripts, those two qualifying scripts, you should be equipped to bring enough value to your clients, to those customers, to those clients, utilizing some of the skills and basically qualities that you have yourself, that you need to know about yourself in order to satisfy the need of those buyers and sellers. That's all I have to say.
Wow, love how you just closed it out like that, huh? That is all I have to say. The G has exited the building.
No, but seriously, those are the two tools you need to know and work on. And that's it. That will answer a lot of your questions. Because we could digress and talk about psychology and personality profiles and all this. It's all good. But in the end, those are just guides to help you go through all that pain of your consumer. That's all you need. Just memorize those scripts. And I'll be adding them into the Alliance Movement page. All right. So you guys can just work on it.
Love it.
That's it.
That was it. Nothing else to add to that?
I don't know.
Another slide, no?
I'm not sure. It's 12 o'clock.
We made it just in time. We made it just in time.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's it. Israel, anything in closing? I think we pretty much wrapped it up, right?
Yeah.
I think we're done.
We actually
We're
had a
done.
few
We're like,
comments real quick before we
yeah.
just ended it out. So when you are brand new, it is better to work with someone with experience and split commissions than lose the deal. Someone that is willing to teach you. So
Amen to this.
it's true. And we were
Yes.
talking about that earlier this week, right, G? It was like it's
Yeah.
better to get some, even if it's a 50-50 split, it's better to
But
get
who
50%
cares?
of something than to get 100% of nothing.
Of nothing. And then you need some help. Yeah, why not? I mean, the person helping you needs to get paid too. But you're learning a lot and you're going to
Correct.
acquire that experience that after the third, fourth deal, you're going to be feeling comfortable to go on your own. Maybe,
And the
maybe not.
and hopefully that mentor or teacher or coach or that partner, whoever it is that you partner up with or join duos with, just know that through that process they're going to teach you how to fish. And if as long as you learn how to fish, you'll be able to eat for a lifetime. And then you don't
Amen
have
to
to bring
this.
that person, and then you can build your own team. So as Gigi always says, if you guys want to partner up with us, I know
Yeah.
Gigi's out in Queens, Israel's out in Queens. I said I'm getting away from you guys, and I went to Long Island. No, I'm kidding, but I'm over in the Nassau County area, so you could
uh,
definitely find this on social media. And again, you can find me at NYC Homes with Ed on Instagram, and our
yeah.
Facebook is kind of the same.
Yeah, I'm Gigi, Ghislaine Pierre. You can just find me like Gigi Pierre. It's pretty much all over the internet as well. So not very difficult to find me. You Google me, you'll get my cell phone as well, right? And
Right.
Israel, you are.
Right there, Israel Martinez NYC. You'll find me on all
There you
platforms the
go.
same way.
Anywhere, right? So same thing. We're available for questions, comment, partnering up, and so on and so forth. We're there. Until next time, everybody. We're gonna end it up with where is our jazz, our cool music?
Oh, we're gonna bring the jazz back.
Oh
Here
yeah,
we go.
that's
Oh,
amazing.
but guys, it is Friday.
Yeah.
So enjoy the weekend. And like always, I'm sorry we don't play no jazz because it is Friday, guys. So enjoy your weekend. All right. And if we see you out in the streets, if you see us hosting an open house, wave at us, say what's up. But we love you guys. Thanks for
Yeah.
tuning in.
Bye.
Thank you.
Oh, man.
Amazing.
You got to do it.
Oh yeah.